morning, everybody. Just getting set up. Give me a sec. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Good morning, everybody. Oh, hold on. Let's bond. Yay, we're bonding. We're having a hair day, whatever. Where's this one? Get rid of that. And then I'm going to go save. Meta is talking about charging. Probably goes up on that. It probably does go up on that. Let me just put this down there so you guys can see this. Thursday, we're going to do open Q&A, and we'll go over anything you guys want to, and then we'll go from there. So let's get started here. And, we'll start with the indexes as always. Okay. All right, let's start here. Let's start with the ES, and then we'll go from there. We'll get started. You know what? Let me move this over to this, and we'll drop you here, and then we can get going, and then we'll just start. Yay! And let's see where we're marked off here on my other chart. Alrighty, good. So I think you're getting to this July CPI level, and then I don't know what we're going to do, but I really think that's where we're going here. I don't really know why they do it that way, but it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so annoying. But if you look right in here, I think this is where we're heading. I think that's what we're saying. I mean, you can kind of see the head and shoulders here. It's kind of wonky, but it's there. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. I mean, it's definitely there. It's just wonky. But I think this is where we're heading to, and then we have to see how that goes. If we look at this on a 5-minute, it's pretty obvious. You had a trend here. You broke out of it, and now I think this is where you're going. There was a level here, and you just went through. You went right through it. So You can see the battle there, and then you lifted right through it. If we drop this to a 15 and we look at those levels, there's a couple sticking points up here, but I don't really view them as like they're going to be the be all end all right there. See it? And I really think that's how you view it. And what you want to do is with it candidly is just watch it. No one knows how this is really going to play out. I'm just going to leave those there, and I can actually get rid of some of these others. Like there's no reason for them now. I'll leave that one. That's a pretty good one to leave longer term. But some of these other like short term ones, there's no real reason to have them on here. Unless we just fell off a cliff today, which I don't think you're going to do. But I think you're going to grind and baffle people is what I think is going to happen. We'll put this here. Maybe we should change the color of that to white. I don't know. I think I got goofy with some of the colors here. I don't really know what I was doing there. Maybe I was trying things, mixing it up. That's how I say it, and that's how I would view it. They're the really big ones that I think you have to pay attention to today anyway. And I don't think that. Like if you were to look at that, I don't think you want to look at anything more than that, really. And this would really be the one. Like if you could get up, maybe you could get up there today. How high is that really? You can do it today. You're really at a crossroads here in the market. You just are. So it's going to be interesting to see. Hold on one second here. I'll drop that there. Drop that there. And so then we go here and take a look at NQ. Get that to a 5. You got this weight on you. We'll get to that in a moment. But if we're just to look right here, I mean, we can all see this and how that's been a battleground. We're flipping the same area here that we had to worry about. Whether or not we hold or we don't hold here, this is getting kind of interesting. We have those weights. We'll get to those. But I think you want to kind of focus on here. You battled it a bunch in here, and you're getting right to it. So if you can get through that, and if you can get through that and get back up here, you're going to have a lot of people panic, like a lot of people panic that they missed this. I think you're already starting to see the panic. It's so funny. I'll say it again. Like everyone keeps waiting for these magical moments. MSTR is up 100 points from the bottom. You'd be up 50%. Tesla's up what? 60 points from the bottom or 30%? And people are talking about we're going to roll over again. People forget what their job is. Your job's to trade. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Or maybe it's not your job. Maybe that's not what you want to do. But I think that's how you have to look at it. Gotta get this out. I forgot to do this. Damn it. 1 second. Reminder, Thursday we're going to do open Q&A. Let me just grab this and then I forgot to dump this in. Today is Tuesday, right? Let me do it this way. It was way cooler. I did this. 1 second, guys. Almost there. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I like those levels. Let's do it this way. Let's do it through the Qs now. And then what we'll do, we'll drop the levels on the Qs so that you guys have them. And then what you can do is then we'll take a longer term outlook. See that right there? Okay. I think these are two key areas you really want to pay attention to. That's it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think I got to worry about that today, but you never know. So that's how I would worry about my day. That's how I'd start my day, worrying about that. But I think the risk is to the upside, at least off the open for a little bit. And I think that's going to freak some people out. We sit here and take a look at the SPY for a second before we go. Well, let's just do it. Let's just do it now so you can see it. So here we are, right? And now I'm going to clean up these levels. Actually, what we'll do is we'll just drop this off for a second. Okay. Chartlng Links. Sweet Jesus, work with me, not against me. And here's the 200, and here's your 55, and here's your 22. So we know the 55's up here, and that's screaming down, and we know we're above the 12 for the first time, right? So if we take a look at this and we get rid of the 55, and we just look at this, and people are like, oh, we have a death cross. Well, before that, you got a 12 cross, a 22, and so you got a bunch of stuff. Like you have a bunch of stuff that should be more concerning than a death cross at this point. That might not even happen. So you look at these levels, please work with me. And then you kind of go from here and you see what you're dealing with, right? Look, this is not prophetic. You're either going to get through this or you're not. But when you come straight across here, you have a level right here. And that level is telling you that this is an area of interest. The other thing that you have to realize, and this is why I use them sparingly, you have a level here on the Qs that ties directly in here. So I have a gap fill, I have a 12, or I have a 22, I have a 200, and it's all right here, man. It's like 490, 494 is like, the mother of all levels. But wait, there's more to it. So like if I go to, I think was it October that I had to worry about? No, October held. Was it August that was also there? Yeah, so like August 5th for the Japanese when they, they raised their rates. So like I have 5 pieces of confluence there, meaning I have a 200, I have a 22, I've got peak VWAP, I have the August VWAP, and it doesn't have to be there. That's actually in the wrong spot. But it doesn't matter. When I drop it like right there, it's in the same exact spot. So, but maybe now it's just like a thing. Now I just want to get rid of you because now I'm annoyed. Okay. So it's the same thing. It's right there. So it's definitely something to me of interest, the spot. I don't know that you get through things like that your first go round. Usually it's a little bit more than that. So, we'll see. We'll see what it does. We'll see what it does. I mean, I'm long and it makes me very uncomfortable. Like, I mean, I'll just act, whatever, but there's a lot going on there, like a lot. And, I pay attention to that. I'm not a huge like VWAP guy. Like I could put 40 here and then go see, but there are times and places where you have pain points. This is certainly a pain point. The people that own here, it's no different than when you look at like MicroStrategies and you do this. Like, well, I mean, but wait, there's more. Like you never got above this. Like you never really got above that pain point ever. And here you're coming right into it again, right? So you're going to want to watch. But because if you flip them, that's vicious. It's like IPO VWAPs. Like there's nothing more powerful than an IPO VWAP. If you ever look at a chart, like it just doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how far back you go. Like it doesn't. It's crazy how it works because you're just seeing everybody. But like the moment that broke, that was it. Or like Kava, like when we do it on Kava, it's crazy. And you see them broke, retest, broke, retest, and then that was it. So like there's times, and here you are again, you're flipping it. So like there's times when you do this stuff where you really want to pay attention to it. Like you really want to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Let's go back. So then look at the SPY and you see the same exact thing. But the SPY is actually a little worse because not only do you have like that going for you, but at the same time, here's your November level, here's your January 13th test, and the 200 and the 22. Now, this is a little different. If you go to August 5th, you're there again. But if you go to your high, well, this is interesting because there's your high here, but your high on the ES is different. So if you look at the SPY here, it's very similar. The S&P itself is a little different. But these are huge resistance points. Like they're not, like this is not a small resistance point. It's enormous. And it's enormous. And like you'll say, well, why? And the answer is because I have people that won't buy a 20-day moving average or a 22-day moving average, or watching peak VWAP, or people that are watching the August VWAP, or people that are watching support and resistance levels. So when I have all those different people that have all those different strategies and they're all watching the same level and they're going to sell into it or be skittish, it's a pickle. And so we just have to, we have to respect that and kind of go from there. I don't know really what else, to say about it, but it's a big, big level. And we got to watch it. And I think that that's really the thing. So if we go here and we look at this on a 5, you're like, wow, there's a lot, you got a lot going on there. And you're like, yeah, there's a lot going on there. So I really think that that's how you have to view it. Like, wow, there's a lot going on there. And yeah, there is. So, and you can already see the rejection this morning on it. So, you just want to watch. You got to be super, super careful here. Like super careful. Because I don't think it's going to be like, if it rejects in here, I think people are going to be super, super skittish and get out of the way. That's my sense of it. So I think you're going to want to just, you're going to want to be super careful here and kind of go from there. I don't mind cold coffee. What I hate is after you're drinking coffee and then this happens. So, and then I don't know, we need to get in the usual suspects. I think we're going to take a lot of questions today because I haven't done it. And then Thursday night, guys, we're going to do an open Q&A on anything. But we'll go from there. Let's do a lot of questions today because we haven't been doing that. Beautiful day in Texas. It's always a beautiful day in Texas, isn't it? So ZIM. Yep. So you got your dividend yesterday, right? Okay. And this is when everybody gets out of it. Yeah. I mean, I think if you did this, like if you went back and you looked at X dividend dates, they tend, like, it's hard to see X dividend dates because they won't put them on here. They'll put the dividends on here. And then if what you can do is like, here's the dividend date, right? And then you kind of come back to when that is. So like, here's the dividend date. So if you go back and you mark the dividend dates on this trade, you usually get more selling on them for a couple days. You have a lot of people that want to buy this because they think the company is going to be acquired. And I actually think that as well. And if you were going to buy a company, would you buy it and know that you have to give yourself the $3? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, would you buy a company knowing that there's a $3 dividend that's coming out? And the answer is probably not, right? You'd probably let the corporation pay out the dividend, and then you would then make your offer because you know that this company is going to be at a discount to the dividend. I actually think, Di, that's why the name is trading the way that it is. I actually believe that. I think that, like, if you go back and look at this, I was watching this yesterday, but if you look dividend, right? Dividend down, dividend down, dividend up. And, you didn't have a dividend for a while. Remember when they went through that period? Dividend held, but you were at that level. Dividend down, dividend down. It's just you follow me? See where I'm going with this? So, like, if I was going to buy the company, I'd want, like, boom, let's get rid of the dividend. After we get the dividend out, we can go from there. I think this is the easiest trade in the world. The question is, do I want to do this or not? because it either works or it doesn't work, but they're a monster, man. Like they are an absolute monster. So let's say it doesn't get bought. Let's just say it doesn't get bought. And you go back and go into title. Like we've been trading this. The community started like somewhere in here. And we've been trading this on buying dividends on this thing for like ever. And it's just insane. My sense of this is like if you can buy this name die, like between here, like if you just buy this between like 15 to here in like a year or two, you literally just are paid out in dividends. Like it's just crazy. I think that and you're going to go through these periods where it's going to be hard, right? Okay, but like at the end of the day, I think it's a really long-term great idea, and I actually think that the people that run the company, the C-level people, are like, man, we're giving away so much money, and we're spending the money on stuff that we know we shouldn't even spend it on just to try to keep it, and they just want the cash flow. So, and I don't blame them. It's just a cash cow. So, it's really kind of the day that you look at buying it, in my opinion. But what do I know? So I'm going to watch it today. Actually, I'm going to watch it. Yay! Yeah, you got to watch that. You know, I don't know that it's over. I would say that you're hitting trough valuations on certain sectors. I think you did in financials. I think you did in energy. I think you did in home builders. I think you're darn close in home builders. I, I think there's other stuff out there that's you got to watch. And I wouldn't want to be, I'll leave it at this. I wouldn't want to be short here. But do I think you put a bottom in? Yeah. I mean, here's the big tell. So here's a big tell that you probably put a bottom in. This day, and you can go look this up, but I think the up volume was something like 70%. You couldn't even backfill. Like your open was the high. So I think you put a bottom in, but that doesn't mean that you just go straight up. Like V-shaped recoveries like this are not the norm. This is not normal. And so we have to realize that like V-shaped recoveries, like this one was what, 9%. This one was what, 10%. Everyone like crying about it. So like at the end of the day, it just presents opportunity. I personally think, and there's more damage done here, obviously, than here, but I personally think looking at it that, yeah, you put your bottom in. It doesn't mean that I'm right if you go into a recession. I personally think that some of the numbers coming out right now are scaring the bejesus out of the administration. I think they thought there would be turmoil, not to the level that they're saying it. So I think they're reining it back. I think that's from what was leaked over the weekend. Wall Street Journal front page Monday about tariffs kind of being reeled back a little bit. So now we have this level in here, and we can see that really clearly. But is it over? I think a bottom's in. Yeah, I do. Does that mean we're going to go right up? No, you could come back and retest this area up 100%. It would actually be healthy if we did. So, but we'll see. We'll see, John. Nobody really knows. Depends on, PCE data is going to tell you a lot on Friday. What's up? What's going on, Alan? Yeah, they're going to get out of those kinds of names, and they're going to rotate into high beta. This is why you got to be so careful when you start doing these rotations. Like everybody will do these rotations, right? And they're going to go, oh, I'm going to get into the XLP names because it's safe. And then they wake up and they own Procter and Gamble, and they don't know what happened. That's what happened. You rotated. So Procter and Gamble, like the XLP names and XLV names, always will drop ahead. XLV has gotten smoked, but they'll always drop ahead of the other stuff. And then when the dollar starts doing what it's doing, which was going sideways, then you start getting to this point where, oh, okay, I get it. And you want to watch the dollar here. And so they'll start doing that again, and then they'll start rotating in the high beta. That's one of the reasons why you're seeing like the high beta names like rally a little bit today. So, we'll go from there and we'll see how that goes. How are we doing here this morning? Yeah, doing all right. So, kind of go from there and see how that plays out. Okay. But I think that, yeah, you don't really want to get involved with those now. You look at Mo, like I like Mo a lot. I like it on dips. I like buying PM on dips. Just let him get smoked. BTI is like a fan favorite of mine. Like this thing will get smoked, like absolutely smoked. And the dividend's bigger. It actually pays out more. People just aren't even aware of this one. But this one can have wild, wild swings. And like, as you can see, and the dividends are huge. So, I mean, you can just see them like 68 cents. And you start looking at this stuff like, why does it even go down 74 cents? But because they cut their dividend, they'll play with the dividend. Like, and then you look at something like a Philip Morris, 61 cents. And then you just keep going through them and you're like 94 cents. And right, like they don't play with the dividend just goes up. So like when these things dip, like here, it's funny, like when these things all broke down, like the number one name during the pandemic I told people to buy was just buy Exxon. It was the easiest trade in the world. They were getting 11% on their money, 11% here. It was crazy. And now you're getting 11% in perpetuity now, forever on your capital. It's insane. So, but you want those on like when they get smoked for some silly reason. Tesla. Yeah, I mean, here's the game. We just have to see how we open. Where does it go? Personally, I mean, if you're going to get through this level, I think you're going to see a 3 handle sooner than later. I don't know if you're going to get the 310. There's a big, big reversal right here. I'd be shocked if you got there, but I'm really shocked over the move. Like it was something that I really wanted to play bigger, and I just didn't have the time because it moved too fast. So I have a position. I bought more yesterday. I've been trading around it. I bought more calls yesterday. I think you can get up to, well, this, you're in the room, but like, I think you can get up. I think you can see a 3 handle fairly quickly there. I guess my concern really is the position of, my concern would be the position of the market, like how the market's positioned right now, as to whether or not it holds, because the market's positioned in such a way that it's, we went through this, that's going to be an issue for us. I think it's going to be an issue for us. So we'll have to go from there. Let me just check something here. See how this is going. Yep. So they're probably going to lift that, continue to. We'll just have to watch here. But he's going to come out with a new revenue source. You're probably going to move around a little bit. Mm-hmm. Nobody had that in their model. See, if you don't have something in your model, they have to change their earnings models. If you change your earnings models, the stocks go up. 10 Thursday, I'm going to drop a sheet tomorrow so that I can prep for it. So live, I can answer questions. If I see the same question over and over again in the form I'll have ready for tomorrow, then I'll make sure I get to that question. So, and they can be on any topic. I'm going to do more topics in the free newsletter too. I was thinking about this. Like we just did a Groupon trade. We bought this thing at like 13. I'm just going to walk through it literally line by line, how I did it, what got me involved in it and everything, step by step, so people can do it for themselves. Crowd hit a scan yesterday. Meta's really interesting today, John. How's the weather there, brother? It's so, I love Miami, but there's something about walking around a big city that I really miss. You can't, Miami's not really that walkable. Like there's like one area like Brickell, but Brickell's like 5 by 5. Like if you're from a city, you're like, okay, now what? But it is beautiful. I would watch this. You mean you keep wrestling with it, don't you? Is today the day? Do you really want to play this like into all those moving averages? I mean, that's kind of where my head is. Like, do I really want to play that to that place of convergence? I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not sure yet on that. You know, the convergence really has me there. Like if I didn't have that going on there. Yeah, I am. I'm from Penn State. Well, I mean, you know, like you don't get to ring the bell again. You know what I mean? You had a shot, you missed it. So what? Next time, pull the trigger. It either works or it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like it takes, like maybe it takes time to get used to that. Like you either do it or you don't do it. But look, the one thing you'll learn about doing this, I've been doing this 25 years. The one thing I can just tell you, you will never have enough of the names that go up. Like you just will never have enough of those. And you will always have too much of the ones that go down. And you're always going to regret not doing a trade versus doing a trade. Like it's just a fact. If a trade meets your criteria and you don't do it, you always will regret it versus doing the trade and it not working. There are just three facts of trading. And it doesn't matter how big your account is. Doesn't matter if like you're a hedge fund or, you know, you're trading billions or you're trading $5,000. Like you will always regret not pulling something that met your criteria. You'll always not have enough of your winners, and you're always going to have too much of your losers. And you're always going to want to, and you're always going to say, I should have cut my losers sooner. You know, I know guys that are still like competing for basis points to cut their losers. So it is what it is, man. You saw it, you didn't take it. Next, the question is, what do you do now? I mean, it's up. You know, maybe it does open up 1.5% this morning. Maybe it goes flat. You know, nobody knows. And then the question really for it is going to be, how does this play out later? You know, my larger concern with the market really is the indexes and the placement of the indexes and not hopping over that this morning. So my hope this morning was more of a full-on squeeze. And I'm just not getting that this morning. So it's definitely an issue for me looking at it and trying to figure out, you know, what I want to do here. Give me 1 second. Let's see what we're doing pre-market here. See what we're doing. Yep. So, you know, even you can see your level right here, 84 to 82. So there are definitely things here where, give me 1 second here, please. And then I can stay for a couple more minutes. I got to grab something real quick. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. But if I do this now, then I can stay for a couple more minutes. And I can actually heat my coffee at the same time. So it's like a win-win for me. But, you know, the larger issue is like, you just want to pull the trigger. Like it's so easy for me to say because I've been doing it so long, but you just want to pull the trigger. Like win or lose, you just want to pull the darn trigger. Like just do it. It's way easier to do that than to not do it. And then you just move on. Like it either works or it doesn't work. It's so crazy. These overnight trades. I put a trade out there last night at a ridiculous level. And I'm just watching it this morning and it went. Like these after hours traders, like overnight traders, it's just crazy. You got to see if you hold here. You don't really want to start closing below this and kind of go from there. But here, see what you do. What are you going to do, tough guy? Well, you figured out I'm going to get my coffee. Oh, for God's sake, this door. You don't really want to be breaking that this morning. So you either pull the trigger, man, or you don't. And you got to get used to that. That is what it is. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you that it gets easier, but what I will tell you is that the action gets easier. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think this is more important. Like, I think it's more important to go over that, Jared, than the actual trade. You set it up, you did the work, pull the freaking trigger. Like, the aggressive trader wins, dude. It just, right or wrong. If you're wrong, you just get out. But the aggressive trader wins. It's just a fact. It just is, man. I could spend a lot of time on that. What's up, Steve-O? I think that we're all looking at semis wrong. I think we should be buying the capital equipment manufacturers because I think that they're setting up for a new, I think they're all setting up to ramp up. I think every day I come in and I look at these things and I realize that since Michigan consumer sentiment, which was pardon me, on the 14th, right? Since Michigan consumer sentiment, look at KLAC, look at LAM, look at ASML, look at AMAT. They're not going down. So like at the end of the day, the ones that were really interesting, like they're not dropping. I think you need to think about it from that standpoint. If I look at NVIDIA, I think NVIDIA is going to have a bad day because of what Baba said, but I don't know that. AMD, everyone's like in love with. And they've been right. Like AMD's been kicking my butt compared to me, like talking about NVIDIA and how NVIDIA is the cat's pajamas. But yeah, I mean, it's just been kicking my butt, right? So I do think there's something to that. Yeah. I think you want to watch and see how it goes. But yeah, I definitely think there's something to that. I think the semis are bottoming. I do think that. I definitely think the semi-capital equipment manufacturers are bottoming. Like if there was a semi-cap equipment manufacturer ETF I'm not aware of, I would look at that. Because like here, take a look at this. This is where it gets super. I love these questions. Because like, look, Steve, like if you go ASOX, like look how you couldn't close above on that bar. Like this is just AI semiconductors. This is the SOX, right? Which is in the median. See how it's like in the median of that bar? See how the ASOX is at the low end of the bar? See how ESOX, which is the equal weight, is at the high end of the bar? What's that telling you? It's telling you they're broad-based buying semiconductors, right? Okay. It's not telling you that they're buying AVGO, right? Which is AVGO could be weak because of the BABA and maybe that leaked yesterday. But anyway, I think that's really important to get out there. VIX is just imploding, dude. It's telling you everything. You're going back to 15. It's pretty clear. 100%. I mean, you can say it. What's up, Jay? So the bros scares me because of tariffs and apparently no one cares. And it's acting really well. So, I wish you well with it. It's not my kind of trade, brother. What do you got here? This is really interesting because I love charts that do this. Like you see how you have those undercuts and then you have the control bar and then you just basically sweep the leg, watch, and then you come here. Say it. It's really interesting, that chart. 22, high volume. I like it, man. What's up, Steven? Surprised you're still talking to me. I thought you were going to get mad at me yesterday with OKLO. You know what's crazy about this name? I was thinking about you. I'm just laughing because T said you're like my favorite. But look at how this is being bought all day, dude. Like all day, this thing's being bought. It's crazy. All morning, this thing's being bought. So I would just watch that, brother, right there. Just watch that level, and go from there. APLD is breaking out at the top. I don't know, man. Is it? Is it? Is it? I don't think so. When you get a blow off top, then a rally, then the bear market starts. Jesus. I'm just trying to get through a Tuesday, man. Uber. You know, I think it's interesting how scared everybody got from. It's so funny. It's so funny how people are just lemmings. Everyone got so scared with it. Like Elon's going to have like driverless cars. And then you see like a Waymo car and people are basically like flipping them over to get them out of the street so that they could drive. And then everyone bought this like the moment that they found out that Ackman was in it. They got to realize Ackman looks out years, not days or weeks. I don't know, man. I mean, you've held the 55. I think that's good. We are not in euphoria. We're far from it. Exactly. Just stick to what you do, dude. Yeah, you know, I'll talk to you about it in the room in a minute. I get it. I'm looking at him too. We're going to be up, but I think we're going to be up. But we should talk about it. We'll go over it in a minute. Yeah, you know, it's funny you say that, John. I have a stack of them on the ground of books. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to probably start having authors. I'm going to start doing. I think my goal is what's up. Good one from Palm Beach. Palm Beach is booming right now. You got a lot of building going on up there. I like Miami, but sometimes I think about moving someplace a little quieter. I started thinking about Naples again. I wouldn't like you got to think long term with those, dude. Like you have to scale into those. Like everybody wants them because they're monthly payers. I get it. You know, I get it. I understand. But like, you know, when you're buying this stuff, like you have to understand this is what it does. Like you're going to go between 50 to 60 and you're going to bounce around and have a 20% range and you're going to get 9% or 6%, I think is what it boils down to. Like, is it worth it versus just buying Bill and getting 430? You know what I mean? Like, and never have to worry about the fluctuations. You know, that's up to you what you do. Like, I don't know. It's up to you. If I was going to do that, I would scale into them. I would have X amount of dollars going into it every month. That's how I would do it, and go from there. But that was really the question, dude. That's why I spent so much time on it. That's really the question you're asking, I think. What about trading 500 big ones? FICO. What's up, Liam? Let's go look at FICO. What time is it? Oh, man. How come John's not yelling at me? Oh, he did. He did yell at me. Yeah, I get why you're looking at this. This makes sense, actually, to look at. I would look at this and I'd look at the volume and go from there. This is interesting. This is one of those names I always want to buy and I never buy. It's like SFM. It's like one of those names you always want to buy. And then when you get the opportunity, you're like, that's what that's what my father sounds like. Like then you just don't buy it. Right. And then you get that opportunity. You're like, if this thing ever blows up, I'm definitely going to buy it. And then it like blows up and everyone's like, eh. And then they'll look at it back here and go, I can't believe I could have bought that at, 1900. It's very true. Jonathan, there's guys in the room that have a whole Tesla room, brother, that know it better than I do. I saw the numbers. The numbers are disgusting. It's explained to me because it's a different company. Like they're switching out their Model Y. I'm not that into it. I'm not. I like the way Hood's acting here. I think that financials look decent. I think that there's some trades here on some of these financials. I don't know if that's the one that I'd play. We have others. I'm throwing it in my today list because you reminded me of it. But I have other people. SMCI, I'm not going near. Kava. Well, the Kava trade, man, I think you should look at like this. Like if I was going to play Kava, I think that this 1222 cross tells you a lot about when to buy it when it's under the 55. That's a huge trade of mine, by the way. Like there's a whole system to doing those kinds of trades. I can do it on an educational class. But like, see this? Like that's everything. That's the cat's pajamas. The kids still say that, right? I'm cool. So like, see how you tested that VWAP? See how you broke that VWAP and you just closed over it yesterday? That's everything. Like if you're a long-term guy and you love this name, that's where you buy it. And then if it closes below there, you just get out. For me, I'm not that invested in it. I'm going to have to go here, but like, I'm not that invested in it. I understand why people are buying it. If these tariffs go through, avocados are going to be $78. Your Niçoise salad is going to be like $140. So I don't know, man. RX. Let's just go CLSK. No. Trade desk. Yeah. A lot of guys like this one. No. This is interesting because this is one of those high flyers that like dropped and everybody wants to own this name. And so now you've gotten that opportunity. The question is, do you want it? I don't know. I don't have an answer. I got to jump. Trade to win.